Hello and welcome to Re-enthused. We haven't really managed to get a video out recently, mainly because real life has kind of been getting in the way with lots of deadlines I had to hit, so it's kind of taken away all the time I had for making YouTube videos. So this is kind of a low effort affair, but it's also time we kind of did a state of the channel video. We do these quite regularly, and it's been a while since we did the last one, so it's the state of the channel. So in the State of the Channel videos, we take a little look at how the channel's been doing and the kind of things we've achieved, like a lot of the PCBs we've made and made freely available, which is an interesting segue into our sponsor for this video. PCB Way is the one-stop shop for your fabrication needs, whether it's creating your own PCBs, browsing through their large libraries of shared products, or if you want professional grade 3D printing, CNC milling, or even shared metal fabrication and injection molding. Take a look at PCBWay.com now for great prices and a professional and quick service. We've printed a few projects with PCBWay and we've always had a great return on it and excellent prices. We were going to do a room tour at some stage, but this place is really in a bad way at the moment. There's bits everywhere, there's kind of half done projects all over the place, and we've bought so many computers recently. When we're supposed to be dropping our collection down, at the moment we're trying to reduce the collection by a lot so we can organise things a lot better in this room. But instead we kind of just end up selling consoles and buying computers, mostly MSX computers as well. So this place is a bit of a nightmare at the moment, with computers stacked on the floor and everything, so a room tour wasn't really a good thing to do. And yeah, we've got projects like the Plus, which is we've just done the video on upgrading that. There's a minor issue with it. It's not to do with the upgrade, which should just work. There's something else wrong with this machine that we have to investigate, so we'll hope we'll be doing a video following up on that. Yeah, in terms of the stuff that we achieved, we got a lot of videos done. We've got a fair few patrons now as well. Their names will be around here somewhere on the state of address. If we make any PCBs or 3D models or anything that fixes retro machines, we release all that open source and free to use. And so a few of the things we've done, I think key on those is the wonderful French computer, the EXL100. We made this, which is able to take a normal kind of Atari standard pin-out joystick and turn it into the infrared that the EXL100 needs for its joysticks. Quite proud of that. We're currently working on a version which will also do the keyboard as well, because the keyboard is another thing that does break and sometimes isn't with the machine when you buy it. So I think that'll be useful to the community. We kind of made our general purpose power supply for machines. There are a lot of machines out there that need -5 and -12 volts, and modern ATX power supplies don't actually give that out. So this board will take a Pico ITX board, and it will, which is a 12 volt input, and it will give all the voltage you need, +5, +12, -5 and -12, all from this one board. We tested this out on the Computers Links, which is what we originally designed this board for, and it ran like all day we've had almost 1.5 days, because we changed the machine out on the second day, but at the Center for Computing History. So the board was incredibly reliable, didn't miss a beat, which is really, really good, unlike the computers, which the keyboard still doesn't work. Need to fix that. Right, I guess lastly is this board. So this is vastly too big, but it's a prototype board. We've got another version that's coming soon, which is smaller, and will hopefully work. This one doesn't work. I got a minor issue with the layout, and I was foolish and I didn't properly check my layout before I got it printed, but you know, again, it's cheap enough to get them done anyway, so it's kind of okay. I gotta get the new version ordered and to us. So this is a power supply board for this MSX machine. Well, for me it's for this MSX machine. There's also a Sony machine which uses the same power supply, and it's got a weird plug which is very much like the Neo Geo CD plug, power plug. We also made a 3D model of that. We've had a couple of people thanking us for that because it's turned out to be quite useful. And this power supply, because this needs AC input to do a few things, so this power supply will be a direct replacement for the old power supply, and this will be a slightly more modern take on it, although possibly we'll make a lot of changes to make it even more modern. But I think that'll be useful for people, and certainly to me as well. I've actually now got a boxed one of those, which also has the power supply. So the good thing is I was able to test the machine to know it's working, which is always handy when you're building a power supply for something, to know that it's actually working beforehand. Yeah, we've covered a lot of topics. We built Game Boy Advance using parts from AliExpress. We built a DS Lite with parts from AliExpress. Those weren't as popular as I was hoping they would be. The GBA one did okay. DS Lite one didn't come even clear to anywhere near the numbers of the GBA one. But I kind of also enjoyed doing them, so I probably will still do another one of those when I can. There's a machine I want to do. When the parts were available, I might do that. So I probably will still do another one of those, even though it wasn't particularly popular. To be fair, our videos aren't very popular at the moment. I don't know why. Something changed mid last year, and we get half the views we used to get. So, don't know. The algorithm apparently doesn't like us, but I don't mind. Really. Of course I mind. Everyone minds. You want more people watching your videos. But I'll still make them. Although, again, it's harder because the amount of effort we have to put into making these videos. Even this one, which is a low effort video, it's still going to take me probably 3 hours, the filming and then editing and then all the uploading and everything. So there's still a lot of effort that has to go even in these low effort videos. The non-low effort videos take half a day to a day to do, sometimes longer if they're big, like the MSX and Amstrad history of videos I made, which went through all the different things. Those things took weeks to get together and get all the stuff, and yeah, they're so there is going to be a point where the amount of effort I need to put in, you do have to kind of say, well, all right, is it worth it? Are there just too many people doing better than I am and making better videos for me to even make these videos? There will become a point when it's literally the equation is no. Unless something miraculous happens with the views and subscribers, but I don't think that's going to happen. So it'll come a point, but it's not just yet. So we will keep making videos. This recent period where we haven't released as many as we normally do. We normally release one a week. We haven't released one really for the last 2 weeks. And it's literally just been because I've had deadlines for other projects that have just completely tied me up, and I've been so drained from those projects that I just wasn't able to come up here and do these. That project, the main project, is now done, and that's been sent off to whomever is doing the final say on it. It's like a poetry thing that Rogue Gunners Productions is doing for a friend of ours. So if it had been anyone else, I probably wouldn't have done it, but it's a very good friend, a very good person, so myself and Erica decided to do it. So Erica did all the kind of the recording for it, the videoing of it, and I've done all the editing and stuff, so it was tricky. I don't like editing. I'm not a great editor. I mean, you've seen my videos. I think I am a jobbing editor, definitely, in the fact that I can edit, but it's certainly not one of my major skills. And I think Erica would also say she's not a born cinematographer, but she did a good job. Apparently I've done a good job. People are telling me that. Anyone that makes this stuff, they know that you go back and you watch what you've done and you hate it immediately. Certainly I do. So I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so that's really tied up a lot of my time. And these things will happen more as well. My kind of in real life job is also taking up a lot more of my time than it was, and it's really stressful at the moment. So that's, yeah, my time for making YouTube videos is shrinking when it kind of needs to be expanding to try to increase my views, and it's not going to happen, but I'll make videos. People will watch them, and hopefully people will enjoy them. Anyway, we recently hit the 2,500 mark of subscribers. Pretty good. Our growth has slowed right down, but the fact we are still growing is obviously a good thing. We hit some, I can't remember what, I've done almost no work on this. Like I said, low effort. I can't remember exactly. We just hit a view milestone as well, which was quite a huge number of views. But that's because it's been over 5 years. So we kind of almost hit that number of views by attrition more than anything else, but we got there. So it's good. In terms of what we have here, I think I found some interesting machines that aren't covered a lot. So the EXL100 is not hugely covered, especially by English content creators as well. A lot of the French computers just aren't covered very well by English creators, and they've made some just gorgeous machines. And they were really good machines as well for their time, and I'm covering a few of those. There's a lot that I don't own and I haven't been able to get. Hopefully that will happen, but the resources, my resources at the moment are very constrained as well, so the amount of stuff I'm buying comparatively has gone down and is going to go down even more. I'm selling a lot of stuff now and not buying a lot of stuff to immediately replace it, which is kind of what I was doing. I suffer from, if you follow me on Twitter, you probably know, I do suffer from depression, and two of the ways that I kind of take myself out of depression is I either eat far too much, hence this, or I buy stuff, comfort buy. And it's kind of, they're bad habits. They're very bad habits. And if you suffer from depression, having hooks like that is a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's not a good way of getting out of it. But at the worst times, they happen, and I can't stop that. Well, at least I haven't successfully stopped that. So, yeah, comfort buying was definitely a thing. So even when I was selling all this stuff, knowing that I had to whittle down my collection just to make it so this room was vaguely usable, I was still buying stuff for replacement. So what I've done, like I said, is I've basically sold consoles and replaced them with computers. But I have, I've reduced my collection by over half over the last couple of years. So though I was buying stuff, I was also getting rid of a lot of stuff as well. I've donated a lot of stuff to the Centre for Computing History and to a few things to Neil RMC as well, because those places will use the things like better than I would. So it's worthwhile. So at the height of my collection, when I had the most things, so over computers, consoles and handhelds, I had like 300 items. And I think that number is actually excluding duplicates as well, so it's probably higher than that. Now we're about 120, again without duplicates, so it's a little bit higher than that. But now some of that is that I sold my entire handheld collection pretty much, but I kept a few things all in one go. So like a huge number of handhelds I sold in one go. I've sold any machine that I looked at and I said, I have not used this in X number of time, an X amount of time, was put on the list of things to potentially sell. I've also sold my 32X and Mega CD, so my Tower of Power is now just a Mega Drive. All the other stuff is gone. I sold my last remaining Virtual Boy, so that's now gone off to someone, and I sold my CD32 with a terrible fire, because these were all machines that I just have not used. The Virtual Boy has been sitting in that cupboard for 2 years without me actually using it. The CD32, the last time I used it was just to try out the terrible fire I bought, and I just turned it on, and it has never been turned on since. So not only was the CD32 not being used, the terrible fire was a huge waste of money for me. For me, it's an amazing bit of kit, but a waste of money for me, because I haven't used it apart from turning it on to make sure it worked. So that's now been sold as well. So that's going to a home to somebody I know who said they had one before and they really wanted one again. So I know it's going to be used, and which is what you want for these machines. I am not the kind of person who wants this stuff to be boxed up and stuck in a cupboard, which is what I've got at the moment. Right, so I'll spin you around. I'll cut this rather than actually spin you around so nobody gets motion sickness. So this is half of my cupboard. This is the overflow cupboard. And it is ridiculous, to put it mildly. So this is the reason why I'm having to reduce my collection. That's not good for any of those machines, or the boxes for them at least. These things are not being used. There are some machines that I will never get rid of. The RX-78, I adore that machine. I will never get rid of that. The PV-1000, I don't think I'd ever get rid of. There's two machines there. So there's an Acon Electron and a ZX81. I probably wouldn't ever get rid of those. But on the PV-2000, probably not either, because it took me so long to get hold of one. Other than that, I'm probably going to consider getting rid of a lot of those machines. Oh, not the Super. Okay, so anything that's PC Engine, probably not, but yeah, a lot of that stuff. Oh, and we're back again. So this is kind of the reason why I'm getting rid of a lot of the stuff. Is that cupboard is a nightmare. I can't get to anything if I wanted to. If I wanted to do an Atari ST thing, I absolutely can't. My Atari ST is right at the bottom of that cupboard, buried under God knows how much stuff. The same actually for my Dragon as well. I can see my Dragon right here, but it's buried under so much stuff that it would take an hour to get it out. And I don't want that. So I will be getting rid of quite a lot of stuff as well. I'll probably be donating some of the stuff. I imagine I'll probably donate some stuff. Well, certainly I'll definitely donate some stuff for the Centre for Community History. I love those people. They will make sure that other people get to see this and it'll be looked after and everything. So that's always good. And I'll probably donate some stuff to a few other YouTubers as well. I'm definitely donating something I've not sent yet, and I am terrible that I haven't sent it yet. But I'm going to send something to another YouTuber to repair, because he is exceptional at repairing stuff. And I've just got too many projects. There's just too much stuff for me to do. So the best way of getting to see this working is to send it to him, for him to fix it. So that'll be, well, obviously I'll be donating to him. I'm not expecting him to fix it and send it back. That'll be his. But it'll be interesting to see him fix it as well. So he'd do a better job than I would anyway. He's better at repairing stuff than I am. Anyway, I think we've reached an end of this video now. One more thing. So my volume collection of my PC Engine games. So if you don't know the volume collection, there's a bunch of... there's actually two series of this, but there's only one series I am interested in. PC Engine games, a lot of them released with volume numbers on the side. They're not contiguous in the sense that there are some missing, because games, I guess, weren't released that were supposed to be in those numbers or whatever. But there's like not quite... I think there's 59 maybe of them. I think because there's a few numbers missing. But it goes up to 61, but there's a few missing. So I think it's about 59 of them. And I've been basically trying to get them almost for all the time I've been collecting the PC Engine. Now, the PC Engine, if anyone doesn't know, if you read my book or you watched my Kickstarter thing for my book, the PC Engine was the machine that started me collecting retro machines. Up to that point, I hadn't collected any computers from my age. I hadn't collected anything. No, that would be a lie. I had a Mega Drive and a Super Nintendo, but that was kind of it for those. And I was looking around and I saw the PC Engine. I didn't know at that point that the PC Engine existed. Genuinely didn't. So I just thought, well, okay, I'll investigate that. That's another machine I didn't know existed. That's amazing. And investigating that, I then found the Japanese Yahoo auctions and found just all these machines that I didn't know existed at all. There's just a whole wealth of machines that had never made it into the UK, and it was then that I just started collecting consoles. And then a friend of mine, Ralph, who's part of the actual channel on a couple of videos, he'd been needling me about, well, it's weird you haven't got any computers, because the computers were really your thing back when we were kids. And so I did end up buying. I thought, I'll get a Spectrum. I grew up on a Spectrum. I'll have a Spectrum. I'll get a Spectrum. Fine. And I brought a Spectrum. And then I brought the Spectrum and I thought to myself, I always kind of wanted to play with an Amstrad back in the day, because nobody I knew had one. So, okay, I'll get an Amstrad. And it was like, well, my mate had a Commodore and I kind of enjoyed that, so maybe I'll get a Commodore as well. And I got the Commodore, and then we had the snowball effect. And I just got more and more computers, including, again, going to Yahoo auctions and finding all these machines that I never knew existed. So I think I made probably one of the first videos on the Bandai RX-78. Maybe not the first video, but certainly one of the first. And that was a machine that I got on a whim for almost nothing. It cost me almost nothing because nobody knew what it was. So that was kind of interesting. So I did a few videos on that. The Super Cassette Vision, one of my favourite 8-bit consoles now. I bought that in a kind of a box of the first Super Cassette Vision I had. I bought that in a box of random bits, and I didn't do anything with it. It was a machine. I didn't know how to use it. I didn't have any games for it, so it was like, okay. And then I bought another random box, and that had a cartridge in it, which was for the Super Cassette Vision. It was Elevator Fight, and which is one of my favourite games, possibly my favourite game on the Super Cassette Vision. And so I thought, okay, that's great. I've got a game, I might as well try it out. And yeah, that was that. And now I own every game that was released for the Super Cassette Vision, which took a long time to get because those are quite a lot. Those are very, very rare. I got all of those now. I fell in love with the machine. And yeah, the same with the PC Engine games. So almost pretty much since I was collecting PC Engines, I was getting these volume games. I wasn't specifically collecting them because I didn't really know what they were. And then I looked them up and I thought, well, what are these games that have got like numbers on the side? This is kind of interesting. And so I looked them up, and there's this whole volume list online. And it's like, okay, so I guess I'll try and collect those. And so I started collecting them a few years ago, and I've now, as of today, bought the last game I needed. I haven't got it yet. There's 3 games that are coming over from Japan, but they're kind of, I need to wait for them to arrive at the warehouse, and it's quite expensive to ship stuff into the UK at the moment because of things that I won't talk about, but silly mistakes. And when they arrive, then I'll be able to put them on my little shelf there. I'll do some video of the shelf as well. Yeah, so there's my Super Cassette Vision games at the top, and there's my PC Engine games. So you'll see kind of the yellow one in the middle at the bottom. From the left of that to the first game on the left, that's the volume games. And yeah, it's just 3 more outstanding, and they are on their way to me, or will be on my way to me. The rest are just normal PC Engine games because I do collect them anyway, not just the volume ones. But yeah, like I kind of said on Twitter when I got there, this is kind of, even though my collection is probably at the level, definitely the lowest level it's been for a long time, it kind of still feels like I've kind of hit a zenith of the of my collecting, because I've got the whole of the Super Cassette Vision games. I've got all of the volume list, not all of the PC Engine games, because there are a vast number of PC Engine games. I'll probably still collect them up to this point, because yeah, there are some really, really good games on the PC Engine, and I don't have barely any of them. So I will continue to collect those, but it does feel like I've reached a kind of a big milestone by getting those volume games. Right, well that's it. That's all I can talk about. I will ask, if you can, any videos you watch of mine, hit the like button, because it does help the algorithm a lot. Don't forget to share as well, and all those kind of things. It really does help, and I'm really grateful whenever anyone does that. But yeah, that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. It's a bit of a rambly long video, I think, but this is what happens when I go off script. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please hit like. If you really like the video, please hit subscribe. If you didn't like the video or you have something else to say, then please leave it in the comments below. Don't forget the bell icon to be told when future videos coming out, and Patreon and membership and stuff if you want to get access to early videos and exclusive videos. Right, see you next time.
The present is horrible, the future looks bleak. Remember our childhood to get us through the week. We're getting re-enthused, back to the past and the things we used. We all know that our pasts were great, escaping the things that today we hate. Getting